just bought all this stuff on Facebook Marketplace, but was it a good deal? Stick around and find out. So anyone who knows me knows I love Facebook Marketplace. I think it's by far the best place to get a good deal on a PC part. Of course, if you can get the person to show you the part working. So for our first deal today, I lined up a deal for a Ryzen 5 7500F for $100. We chatted for a bit and we agreed to meet at my house after work. But before I got that deal, all right, we just picked up this Ryzen 5 5600X for $80, and this is the worst deal we're gonna get for the night. So after that deal, I drove home and picked up the 7500F from the guy from Facebook. So it turns out last month, I actually had bought a 5700G off this guy. So I checked this page to see if he had anything else listed, and he had a B550 motherboard and an Intel Arc B580. So I asked him, I said, what else do you got for sale before you drive all the way out here? He said, I've got a Corsair 650 watt power supply and a Thermaltake 300 tower. I said, okay, well, how much for everything? The motherboard, the graphics card, the tower, and the power supply. He told me $260. I said, please hurry up and get here. $260 for that is incredible value. That is about the price of the B580 alone. I was so thrilled. I don't just sell all these gaming PCs, I also sell calculators. We sold the calculator! But the deals don't end there. So last week, I picked up this i9 9900K, a Z390 motherboard, 64 gigabytes of RAM, two 32 gig kits, 3200 megahertz, this 750 watt Corsair PSU with no cables. Why? Why no cables? This NZXT AIO with no mounting hardware. And what do we pay for all this? $200 even. So not a great deal on the surface. But before I bought it, I checked eBay, and the i9 9900K goes for like $230 to $250 on eBay. So I'll sell that. The whole bundle is free, and I'll buy this for like $40. And I've spent $0 to $20 on 64 gigabytes of RAM, a motherboard, and a CPU. That's insane. I love Facebook so much. So we have all these parts now, but you know what we don't have yet? A PC. So let's come back, put it all together, and see what we can put together with all these great deals we found on Facebook. And we might even turn a profit too. One second, you remember how I said the 5600X might be the worst deal of the day? I don't know what I was cooking, but I came home and checked the pins on that CPU. Oh my God. Two of the pins were broken. Luckily, it still works, but God, please, when you're buying used AM4 CPUs, check the pins. I got lucky, you won't. Please check the pins. Because like I said, two of those pins were f***ed. So I'd used this case I had from Newegg with a 600 watt Corsair power supply from the Thermaltake tower. I also had this 1 terabyte NVMe SSD that I got from eBay in bulk. And of course, I put the B580 in to finish up the build. Honestly, it's not bad looking, especially for the price. But enough dilly-dallying, let's see how it performs in the benchmarks. The more things change, the more things stay the same. In the mid-2000s, Oblivion brought PCs of the day to their knees. In the mid-2020s, we see more of the same. At 1440p medium settings with XeSS set to quality, we actually do get pretty good frame rates. We get an average of 74, with a 1% low of 58, and a 0.1% low of 15. Now look, unless you have a really, really powerful CPU, when you're loading into zones, you're gonna get those 0.1% low drops. But your general experience in the open world, and especially in dungeons, is gonna be a wholly playable experience. Moving on to the next new hotness, we'll go with Battlefield 6. Now this game's really been a lot of fun. I've always been a fan of the more Battlefield style games as opposed to Call of Duty. probably because my reflexes aren't that great. Nevertheless, at 1440p XeSS quality, we saw 88 FPS with 59 for your 1% lows and 50 for your 0.1. A nice tight band there, so you get a good experience while gaming. But this was kind of an expected result. Battlefield 6 is a very heavy CPU title, as you can see on other channels like Hardware Unboxed, showing that really to crack in that 120 range, you need like a 12600K or a 12400F. We're just a little bit older than that here with a 5600X. So you want to see high numbers. You want to see a line go up. You want something purely academic. All right, Jensen, I hear you. In Fortnite, we had a 272 FPS average with 76 1% lows and 20 for our 0.1% lows. This was performance mode at 1440p, with all settings set to the lowest except our view distance, which was set to epic. And really, we don't see anything out of the ordinary here. You set any CPU to performance mode, and you're gonna get a really good experience in this game. Another game I've been really getting into a lot lately is Forza Horizon 5. Yeah, it's a few years old, but it's really well optimized, and it's a lot of fun to drive around a beautiful map with a nice car on a 4K TV. Of course, here, we tested it at 1440p, at the high settings with no upscaling enabled, and we got an FPS of 116 with 93 and 83 for our 1% and 0.1% lows. Like I said, a very well optimized game, which is going to give you a reliable, steady experience. And if you like racing games and just being able to enjoy without thinking or noticing you're playing it on a PC, you're in luck. Anyone who knows me knows I adore Baldur's Gate 3. I am this close to getting my golden dice on my honor mode run. Really, it's one of the great games of this decade. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, the PC. At 1440p medium settings with no XeSS, we saw a 69 FPS average with 28 and 4 1% and 0.1% lows. In this game, the 0.1% and 1% lows don't concern me as much. They normally happen in transitions between cutscenes that have abrupt cuts. The gameplay experience itself is very smooth. And like I've mentioned before, we test this scene here towards the beginning because Gamers Nexus found it to be one of the heavier scenes in the game. If you're wondering, you can flick on XeSS and you get like 3 more FPS. So it's not that big a difference. I would just leave it on native. And if you're curious about productivity or video editing or anything like that, you have a Ryzen CPU with 6 fast cores, you've got a decent amount of RAM, and you've got an Intel Arc GPU, which actually has pretty good encoders and decoders, so for video editing tasks, you'll be good. If you wanted to do a little streaming, I'd be a bit careful. Not because it can't do it, but because, as other channels have shown, the Intel GPUs can become overloaded while gaming and streaming at the same time at high enough settings. So if you're gonna stream, I'd try to keep it to 1080p, give yourself like 2 or 3 gigabytes of VRAM left over on the B580. So that way you don't overload the card while you're playing, your performance isn't impacted too much, and you'll have a good smooth experience. Of course, if you're looking to stream on a budget, really consider an NVIDIA GPU or an Intel CPU with an iGPU. That's just my 2 cents. So yeah, honestly, this PC is so much better than like the $350 I paid for it. Look, here's just a few quick tips to follow so that you don't end up like me today. First off, always check the pins on AM4 CPUs. For the love of God, if you learn nothing else from this video, check the pins. You don't end up like me. You should always be able to ask for a current video of whatever you're buying working. And if they don't provide it, just back out. Just back out. I bought so many things. Listen, you don't need to buy something from someone that they won't show it to you. And above everything, if you can test it out yourself, that's going to be the best thing. If you liked today's video, please like, share, and subscribe. It's my first one back after a little break. I had some schoolwork to finish up, but now I'm back, and I promise I'm not going away this time. Again, thank you so much for watching, and as always, stay lucky.